Welcome, everybody, to the Farr and Beyond Podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Scott Jones, another co-host, Karyn Hurley, and another co-host, Stephanie Eddowes. We're all together on this, and this is giving you information about what is going on with Farr, which is the Florida Association of Recovery Residences. And any information that you get from here, or if you need more questions answered, please just do yourself a favor and go directly to Farr. You can go to info@farronline.org. Or you can call them at 561-299-0405. They're there to answer questions and to help you. So if you got any questions about sober living, recovery residences, that's the place to call. Karyn, you guys are back after the holidays and rocking and rolling.
We are. Holy cow. So Stephanie and I are back.
Happy New Year to everyone. Happy
New Year.
Stuff. Yeah,
everybody's holidays were wonderful, and there's great things happening, hopefully for everyone that's listening to this, all of us, and Farr for the next year. I can talk a little bit about, I was at the very beginning when Farr was first formed with John Lehman and Rick Riccardi and some other people, and they had a great vision, but they couldn't get all the pieces together. And so this is my third time around in the last couple of years, but I will tell you what I have seen happen for Farr. I'm so honored to be part of it. Real lives, real things are happening. There's services being offered that they talked about, but now they're happening. We have an amazing chairman of the board, Michael Cabot. We have incredible general counsel, Susan Ramsey. And we also have a CEO, Michael Schlossman, who has just done an amazing job with everything that's happening here. So I'm honored to be part of this. I own Sober Livings in New York State way back when, before they were even Sober Livings. And, everybody just tried to do the best they could to help another human being. But with a lot of things that have happened, especially in the state of Florida, and some of the housing and some of the bad things that happen, we really need certification. And lucky for us, Farr has stepped up and we have certified housing now. So if you're not certified, please come and see what we're doing now. Be part of a network that saves lives. And it's so important that we work together. As someone in recovery, the very idea of brokering and selling one of us is revolting to me. And that's one of the reasons that I got involved in this. And I've worked in treatment for years. And bottom line is, if we don't help people to have a better life, then people look at addicts as what? Or alcoholics. But we're not. Look at us. Help people get better. Because if we're better, we're the best people in the community. Scott and I train police officers and fire. They can't believe that we're in recovery because they don't see what we look like here. Show people. Let's get the housing and first responders together and all that goes with that. And, Stephanie Eddowes and I are both on the board of directors of Farr. And one of the things we talked about, Steph, is having these luncheons. You and I talked about this a year ago, is go out in the community and see what people have to say. And we brought it back. We're going to be doing that. We'll talk about that a little bit, but I'd like Stephanie to talk about and both of us share about what you think about sober living and what you're seeing out there, because you're out there more than we are.
Well, thank you, Karyn and Scott. It's a privilege to be here and speak about Farr and be part of Farr, quite frankly. I came into the substance use disorder treatment space back in 2011. And through that time period, I've had the opportunity to have a couple of different roles. One of them was I was helping with aftercare, and I was trying to help people get into treatment or sober livings. After they went through residential and detox, they need a place to live to continue the journey. And it was a big barrier for people. Number one, to find a place that was safe, and to find a place that was comfortable and that would actually, enhance their sobriety. And I remember back in 2014 watching in horror when things got bad in the sober living communities that, people were just, a lot of people weren't doing things correctly. I don't think they were trying to hurt anyone, but I think that, some problems arose and it became bigger than the bad people became too loud, and the good people that were running houses that were really, that were really good and quality houses were being put out of business by people that were doing the wrong things, right? So that's when, and I remember when Farr was born. And I've been on the boards, it was a year in October, and I've watched Farr grow in leaps and bounds from when I came on, onto the board. So I'm proud of what we have all accomplished because we've all had a part in that. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that the housing situation has gotten so much better, and because of Farr. And because of the different reasons that, the different things, the case managers now have the ability to refer patients coming out of residential treatment into a safe, sober situation, right? And that's going to enhance people's sobriety and let them grow and thrive and remain sober, right? Because that's the end game. Mm-hmm. is long-term sobriety. And so one of the things that I'm working on is I'm located up in the Treasure Coast, and I have noticed that there's no Farr accredited housing that is not attached to a treatment center just for people to get sober and go live in sober living up in the Port St. Lucie area and in the Treasure Coast. So one of the things that I'm very passionate about is getting people into housing that's safe and affordable, and getting some more houses certified through Farr so that case managers and treatment centers have a place to send people, and they can, they can make sure that they're safe and helping. So that's one of the things that I'm passionate about, and working real hard up in the Treasure Coast. If anyone has any questions that they, on the Treasure Coast, they need to get into housing, they need help getting Farr certified, you can always reach out to me as well. Because I know the area, so I'm happy to come and meet with you or do whatever I need to do to help.
Well, when you and I spoke at Floridians for Recovery a few months ago, one of the things we were amazed at the number of people that came into our class and wanted to know more about Farr. They wanted to know what we were doing and what happened and what is happening, and they wanted to know where do we send people if you're not Farr accredited, and they're looking for step downs. And there aren't any. So people that if you're in that area, please, we need you. We need to be open so that people can be safe. And I'm sure there's plenty of people up there that do really good things, but we need to be a team. And Farr is the team to belong to at this point. And we talked about you and I going into the community, and now Farr and some of the staff, we're going month to month into the community. And, January 23rd over in the Clearwater area, Largo, Florida is our very next one. And I can read where, or you can reach Stephanie and I, or you can go on the Farr website and look at where we're going to be and what we're doing. But come and talk to us. If you are Farr accredited and you want more information or you've got things to say, come. If you're not accredited, come and talk to us about why you think you haven't been, and come and see what we're really doing now, because it's different.
And that was the thing, Karyn. That was the reason that we wanted to go out into the communities, because there were some misconceptions there, and there was some things that people weren't happy about in the past when they had tried to become certified. It was such a mountain that they had to climb, and it's really been streamlined now. And so one of the reasons we wanted to go out into the community is to find out what was holding people back from really seeing their own dreams. A lot of people have dreams of opening up sober livings. And they get sober and they want to continue, but they don't know how. And so Farr has really laid the groundwork with templates and all kinds of policies and procedures that are free. Just come and get them, implement them, and get certified. And we have found that people are really surprised by some of the information that we're sharing that they didn't ever realize that Farr would help them with.
That's
So,
right. That's
you're
right.
not in this alone. We're all here together to help, and we're collaborative. And that's the thing. No one's going to get in trouble. If you're doing something that, you don't know that you're doing wrong, we want to help you. No one's going to slap you with anything. It's just about collaboration and learning and growing and helping.
That's right. We're here to serve.
Right.
And any of us, the board is made up of recovery people. And so people in recovery want to help people in recovery. I worked in treatment for 30 years, a program director, two treatment centers, Scott and I both. Scott developed programs. We've all worked around treatment, however that made sense for all of us. And, I can remember from day one, what do? You're told, get out of yourself and help another human being. But we're still doing that on different levels. Farr is that organization that is still meeting that way of helping people in the community. We are community people. Let's really bring us together and help each other so that the bad people, the things that happened years ago, doesn't happen to any other human being.
Now, I just want to point out a few things real quick because you guys went through a lot of stuff here. But Stephanie, you were saying that sometimes people come up with things they don't realize. I mean, it's like I start this with the best intentions. I open a house. I'm doing everything that I think I should be doing. And then all of a sudden, this comes along or this happens. And that's where you see a lot of good places go downhill because they're not prepared. And you made a great point. And I think we need to really focus on this. This isn't just about having a heavy arm over your business. This is about having a partner in your corner with all the answers and everything. So if you do get hit with something, you got somebody to call. Maybe you can't afford lawyers and all that stuff. You can call Farr and you could say, this is what's happening. Is this right? Is this wrong? How can you help? And that's what Farr's there to do, right, Steph?
Yes. What if you own a house and you have a neighbor that all of a sudden starts to give your people a hard time? What do you do? And we have all those answers because it's all happened before, so we know how to address it and we'll go to bat for you. We'll talk to the neighbor. We'll talk to the city officials. We'll help you with anything that you can come up with.
And then Karyn, they also have like good neighbor policies
That's
and
what
stuff.
I was just thinking about, the good neighbor policy.
So it tells you how to really better fit into a neighborhood, right?
That's right, because many times we don't know how to do that. But a good neighbor is exactly that. And you and I have written good neighbor policy, so we know. But a good neighbor is, how do you treat people? If go over and introduce yourselves, or all the things that good neighbors do. And every single house has to have a good neighbor policy. It's part of the whole communication into your neighborhood. And if you have good communication and you are a good neighbor, and quite frankly, a lot of us didn't know how to be good neighbors.
Right.
But now we have a way to learn how to be a good neighbor and what to do with our neighbors, so that people get to see a difference. They get to see real people getting better. Not what you see on TV, not some of the other things, but real people getting better, caring about where they live, caring about the people they live with and need help and support.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And another point that we were talking about, that you guys were talking about, was in the old days, it was the Wild West. I mean, that was it. You set up a house, you call it what you want. It's like riding into town, building a thing and calling it a hotel, a saloon, or a bank. You could do anything you want. So that's kind of how, the sober living started, with the exception of a few very large places like Oxford House and stuff. It was really everybody on their own. But now having this backing and understanding, and I think the comfort level for the clients is important and their families, that they are going to a place that has a sort of like a kind of governing body that kind of oversees and makes sure that the standard operating procedures and all those things are met. Just think about it. Would you go to a restaurant if that restaurant refused anybody to inspect them, including like the health department? Would you go eat there?
Right.
If they refused to have any oversight? No, we want a place. These sober livings could say, we meet these standards and this is what you should never accept less than, right?
Right. And be proud of what you've accomplished, as a sober home owner, because it's not an easy, owning a sober home is not an easy gig. Okay. You're dealing with a lot of people that need a lot of help, and it takes a lot out of you, and you need a partner to do that. You need someone to walk with you down that journey, and it's a good one, and we need you. So I think we beat that horse to death.
But I love the fact that Farr is part of your team. It's not just somebody to go out and point something that you're doing wrong. It's part of your team to help you get to the best place in your community with respect and help people. And bottom line is, if you look at it from that direction, now that's a whole lot better than they're making me do something. No, nobody's making you do something. You want to have something better. You want to be part of something.
Exactly.
Where did you want to go next, Steph? And I think you had
Well,
something.
I wanted to mention that there's a lot of the FAR accredited housing, and a lot of any sober housing can benefit from connecting with their local RCO, Recovery Community Organization. I know that Fellowship has a really robust one, and so does one over in Tampa. Patrick, is it Patrick?
Actually, it's Will Atkinson that has.
Will, that's right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, over there. Yeah, that's Epic Center.
And so an RCO is a recovery community organization, and they work really closely with the housing to provide referrals for mental health and for substance use and jobs and all kinds of things. So we love the recovery community organizations that connect with the FAR accredited housing.
That's
so
right.
I don't know if you wanted me to bring that up or not, but I did.
No, that's great, because there's RCOs in Miami, South Florida Wellness Network. There's Volusia Recovery Alliance up in Ormond Beach. Epic Center over there. RCOs are a wonderful group of people that offers support and coming together with FAR and recovery residences and RCOs is a magic combination.
And they're really helping people to get and stay sober. They're really kind of filling the gap between treatment and housing. That place where people are now trying to clean up the wreckage of their lives, and they don't know how to go about doing that. The RCOs have all the resources for people. And they have peers that work there. So there is a really robust one up in Port St. Lucie area, and it's growing on the Treasure Coast. So I think it's growing across the country.
What is the name of that RCO that you're talking about just opened, right?
Right Life. Yeah, Right Life. Yeah,
That's
there's
awesome.
Actually 4 locations now: Okeechobee, 2 in Port St. Lucie, and 1 in Stewart.
Oh, that's wonderful, because that's exactly the pieces when people are getting sober. You also, along with where you live, you need that support. How to write resumes, how to just be safe sometimes. Just walk in and just be safe. That's so important.
Yep.
I agree.
Yeah, and I think bringing all of these things together, certainly FAR isn't the most important, and the RCOs are not the most, and treatment's not. But together as a network, we could have a lot more success.
Right.
There's been so much focus over the last 30 years, even on the treatment centers, the place where somebody goes for 30 to 45 days. And there's been so much focus on that and no focus on the back end. And that's what we're trying to turn around now. That's why things like the National Association of Recovery Residences, NAR, and then most states are building their own if they don't already have their own associations. And then FAR being one of the first to branch off, actually. These kind of connections is going to make a difference in how people survive out there.
Agreed.
Too many places, they're just go to a home, get a job, and get right. And that's not how it works. We need support along the way.
Well, not only that, how do you do it?
Well, yeah.
How many times that people don't even know how to go do that? How do you write a resume? How do you do a checking account? How do you do basic things? People don't always know how to do that. And RCOs are right there to support you. And, I've not met anybody I'm sure the three of us agree, and any one of the RCOs that is not caring and kind and willing to go out of their way for you.
Absolutely. They're there to help. That's what they're there for. And these are people that are passionate about it.
Yes.
You know, they're not in it for the money, because there's no money there.
Right.
You know, that's where you find you find the real people, right?
Right.
The ones that aren't doing it for the money. So
Right. Right.
That's right. But it's so important. So we're in 2025, guys. Where are we going now? What kind of things are we looking forward to? Or maybe let's just spitball for a minute and say, what would we like to see change this year? What would we like to see? Whether it's in the in Farr itself or in recovery residences, what would you like to see?
I'll tell you, I'm still on the brunch and learns, because one of the things that we'll be doing is every single month we will be in a different area where we can all begin to, this is our little nucleus, and we can reach out farther and farther and get to know people we don't know and talk about how we're moving forward. I'm really thrilled with that part, quite frankly. And I know that the staff is working hard over at Farr. Josh is amazing doing the work that he does. You can call him anytime for certification. He's the director of certification, and he is incredible to work with. I had two people call me over the holidays if they wanted help, and they talked to Josh before, and they could not believe how wonderful he was to talk to and how much information they got from him.
Yeah, for sure. As far as where I'm thinking is, I really would like to see more activity up in the Treasure Coast and anywhere in the rural areas where there are no homes. I really would be certified homes. I'd really like to see more, so that they're more accessible. I love the fact that we didn't mention that the website is new and easier to work with now.
That's right.
That was one of the barriers too. Back in the day, you needed a Farr certified housing, but you couldn't find one. Now it's very easy to find and navigate on the website. So that's a good thing. The other thing is that I'd like to, I know that there's more houses opening up that are primary mental health. And I would like for the operators to be able to have more access to training for mental health folks that come through and want to live in the sober living homes. It's only going to get bigger. It's only going to grow and get bigger. And quite frankly, once you put that drink and drug down, now you have to deal with the mental health side that actually began the whole process, right?
That's right.
So I'll be fighting on that end about that, with the mental health part.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I think that's the next step we have to do for sure. And more has come out about the fact that bottom line is we can, you're right. When you put the drink down, you put the drug down, you still have all that stuff that you were drinking and drugging.
Now what do you do?
Started to begin with, and now it's still here. So we need to help people in all of those areas as well.
I tell you, what I'd really love to see in 2025 is more and more recognition about the importance of sober living and recovery residences. I think that if we were to give them more recognition, give them more credit for the job that they do, they will want to be elevated and want to do more things involved with RCOs and treatment centers and Farr and any other organization. I mean, there's great organizations out there. You can get involved in veterans organizations and help veterans. You can do a lot of things, but these recovery residences are the real, it's like treatment prepares you for recovery, but your recovery starts at these residences.
That's right.
And it needs more attention. I'd love to see a conference this year to highlight those. Let's stop highlighting the people with the 200 beds. And although there's great treatment centers, there really are, but that's not what we need to be looking at right now. They've already gotten the recognition that we've been talking about treatment centers for years. Let's start talking about living in recovery, and recovery residences number one in that
I
area.
love that. And you and I have talked about that, and we've talked about a conference. Farr is talking about a conference with a couple of other organizations, so we'll give you more information on that. We'll know more in a couple of weeks. But I absolutely agree. We should be talking more about in a container, we can stay sober and clean. That's the bottom line. But what happens to that? What next? How many people? That piece to sobriety is in the sober livings and that gap between it. How do we help people move into that? I agree with you, Scott. That's absolutely a place for us to go.
And that could be something we could do on this podcast, is we could actually bring a little bit, maybe highlight, every once in a while on the show, highlight a couple of places and a couple of people who are doing good works, and let's bring their names out there. Let's really
Maybe
talk about.
We'll have them as a guest.
They should not be in the shadows anymore. And the other thing I want for 2025 is another kick-ass picnic. That's what I want.
The barbecue.
I would rather not have it on the surface of the sun like we did last year. What was it, 105 or something
Like
that day?
Holy cow.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was pretty warm.
It was a good day, but looking forward to that. And of course, hopefully Farr having even more of those, the brunch and learns, but also there's just the community things like getting together and sharing in some sort of mission, beach cleanups, whatever it might be, just get more involved in the communities.
Yep.
But I'm proud to be friends with you guys, and more importantly, to do my little part to help Farr. And you guys are with the board members. You guys are there every minute and every step of the way, and that's appreciated too. But let's wrap this up. Let's say there's somebody out there who says, I want to get involved and I want to do a sober living. And they think they could just do it on their own, like so many people have been doing. What do you want to tell them, Steph?
I'm going to tell them, call Farr and don't make it so hard on yourself. Everything is there for you. We just want to help you, and we want to support you. Mm-hmm.
That's right. If you want to reach out to Farr, it's info@farronline.org if you want to go with the email, or give them a call, 561-299-0405. Yeah, you're right. Start with somebody who knows what's going on and stop guessing, because people can just make a simple mistake and it can snowball into closing your business.
That's right. That's right.
Like pay your taxes, do those things. I don't know.
Yes, that's exactly right.
What do you want to tell? What?
Yeah, and it's a guideline. There's a guideline there. You're going to bring, if you're a new operator, I call them, and you're bringing your experience, strength, and hope to the people that are going to be living in your house. You have some really special gifts to share. And you may do something a little bit different than somebody else in your housing, but there's guidelines that'll help you, and then you'll be able to go in whatever direction your gifts take you. So
exactly right. When you and I spoke at Florence and Recovery, we had 4 people come up to us, and they did not have housing, and they didn't know anything about it. They came to listen to us talk that day. And 3 of them then came in, and they're in their process. So it's like, if we're out there and opening the door, you don't believe everything that you hear or think. Come find out for yourself.
The other thing that we did mention a little bit, the next brunch and learn coming up. Basically what that is that's an opportunity. We have the Farr staff there, and I think the CEO goes. Does it Michael Schlossman go?
Yeah, Michael Schlossman will be there speaking and talking about what's
there's
going
6
on.
areas. There's 6 areas that we've identified. So they're going to go, there's a schedule, and they're going to go to each area, and they'll set it up, and all you have to do, it's free. You come, you register, and then you come and you learn and you ask questions and you connect with other operators and you connect with the Farr staff, and then you go away with a lot of information. And there's something special about meeting in person and being part of that group of people that are growing together. And I'm preaching to the choir. You know what a group does for you. It's magical.
These are all listed on the.
So the next one is January 23rd.
Yeah.
They are listed on the website that you're going to talk about. You can go. The events are listed.
And then the other
is in Largo,
the other thing that's happening is there's a monthly call-in, right, Karyn?
Right.
What is that?
That is a call-in where you can, there's different topics, and you can ask questions, things you may not know about. You may not know about Matt. You may not know about what's going on. You can ask those questions. So those are on the website as well. And that's a
Okay.
really good idea to be on those calls every month.
And listen, just listen. If you're afraid to speak
Yeah.
up or you know,
Right.
just listen and you'll learn a lot.
That's right. But come and be with us if you possibly can. It's in the Clearwater area. Come and first of all, come and have lunch. Come and have brunch. And listen, talk, and network with all of us, and ask us questions. And how can we help you? And what can we do? So please do that. And the next one's up in the Panhandle. Then it's going to be in Orlando. So come and look at the website. Pay attention to that. Website is up there. What is that?
It's www.farronline.org. Farr, remember, Farr has 2 R's, people. Farronline.org. And I was just looking at the website myself, and all the events that you want to know about will be listed on that website. They're still loading some of them now, but it's active and it's working. So
Yes, that's awesome.
So get on there.
That's awesome. Well, this is our first one for 2025, and we do these monthly. And maybe if you'd like to be with us and you talk about some sober living and some information, give Stephanie or I a call. My number is 786-514-0893. Stephanie?
561-632-7989.
And if you'd like to have us have questions about anything, we're happy to help you. I get calls, Stephanie gets calls, and we'll do anything that we can and everything we're able to do to support you.
So for 2025, if you're thinking about opening a place, you own a place now and you are not Farr certified or registered with Farr, think about it. Give it a real serious thing. This is the direction we're heading in. Being connected and having a resource like Farr, where when somebody's looking for sober living or a recovery residence, a lot of people, their first stop is Farr. And if you're not on their list, you could be missing out. I mean, that's a business thing there. And I'm also going to tell you, if you're looking around at your residence and you still do the mattresses on the floor and 6 people in a 2-person bedroom, those days are over, please.
Yes.
It's
they're
time
over.
to make a change. It's time to be different.
That's right.
We're not hurting animals. We're helping people here. Okay.
Right. And we've been in a
And-
few of those when we were.
Yeah. Just do the right thing. One thing that I've always believed, you do the right thing, the money will follow. Don't worry about it.
Right.
It will
That's
work.
exactly right.
All right.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Stephanie
Thank you.
Eddowes, Karyn Hurley. I'm Scott Jones. I want to thank you guys for watching. Reminder one last time, please like this show, share it with your friends, and subscribe to this channel. This is Farr and Beyond. We'll catch you next time. Happy New Year, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Happy New Year.
Year.